What's up, heathens? How ya doing? I'm the Godless engineer, and I critically analyze apologists' claims to give you the best arguments and information so that you can stand up and use your voice. Today, we're taking a look at a clip from The Line. If you will, please go down below and make sure you follow The Line to catch more of my appearances when I host over there. Today, we're taking a call from Brian, and Brian thinks that religion is good for society for some reason. Brian seems to think that if you deconstruct your faith, then there's just simply going to be nothing left in society, whatever in the fuck that means. He essentially thinks that society needs religion in order to function correctly. This leads into a discussion on the role of Christianity in society, saying that Christianity provides a logical and essential framework for society. Then Brian ventures into the realm of how useful Christian teachings are to a society and their foundational nature to Western society and why those teachings are good for society. And I bring up some uncomfortable truths about the bullshit that he's spilling. And I provide some uncomfortable truths for the bullshit that he's saying. So if you want to fuck around and find out how much Brian stumbles over this subject, then please stay tuned.
Brian is a theist who is calling from Illinois. Brian, welcome. Are you there?
I am here. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing well.
Doing good.
Talk to us. What's on your mind?
So I'm going to convert you in 10 seconds. I'm just joking, but so here's the thing that I've always had a problem with. I love The Line. I love you guys. I love always questioning everything you believe in. But one of the problems that I always have is, what is it, like Descartes is the Deconstruction guy, correct? Am I saying the name
Descartes?
right? Yeah,
Renee?
that's it.
Yeah.
So like, you can deconstruct to like, and this is like obviously one of the philosophers' problem is that like you can deconstruct everything into like literally meaningless. So at some point you have to construct something. Like we all need humanity, civilization needs some kind of ideals to like coalesce around, right? As in, what was? Man, I'm trying to think of the guy's name, but like he said, like culture is religion incarnate, right?
No.
There's like a guy in the Reagan administration that like went to jail because the whole Watergate thing.
I'm sorry,
but,
I have no
anyway,
idea what's being discussed right now.
I'm not sure. I'm guessing he may be talking about William Bennett if he's talking about a Reagan era guy.
No, Chuck Colson.
Chuck Colson. Yeah, that was Nixon.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said like religion, culture is religion incarnate. And one of the things that I always have is like, hey, it's always good and it's always like a great thing to like, try to find a situation, like what you believe in, like deconstruct it and like try to reconstruct it or whatever you want to say. But like one of the problems that I always have with my friendly, loving atheist is that it's really easy to like argue against Christianity. But and we can sit here and I couldn't do it because it's kind of meaningless to like go through like the little text and everything. But there's like the ideals of life actually matter. Like we all need to kind of agree on certain things, and certain ideas have certain aspects of life that will either produce something good or something bad. And what I always find with the Line with you guys, which is like totally cool and I understand, is like trying to like fight against the ideals that like Christianity proves, but like there's never the ideas of like, as in there's negative and then there's the positive ideas where like we can.
Hang on, Brian.
And I don't mean that.
Brian.
Yes, sir.
There are so many different ideas. There's so many different directions coming at us at one time. I would like to dial us back. Would that be all right? Can I dial us back to one of the first claims that you made, that if we deconstruct and deconstruct, then ultimately there would be nothing left. At some point, you have to.
That's actually like.
Let me finish, Brian, that's like if you would.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, right. You're good.
I'm going to slow you down. I want you to take a breath. Let's slow your pacing. Let's have a conversation. I know you're enthusiastic, and I appreciate that. Okay. Well, at some point, we can deconstruct something to the point where it reveals that it has very faulty construction, or it falls apart outright. Or we can deconstruct something down to an essence or down to something solid where it cannot be deconstructed any further. But there is still some structure there. So many times what we mean by deconstruct is we're sort of reverse engineering. We say, where did it come from? How does it work? What do the gears do? And this idea that if we deconstruct everything, everything would essentially dissolve. I sort of don't buy that analogy. I think when you talk about religion and culture, I disagree with that statement outright. I do think that we are creatures that have evolved to want structure. I think we enjoy, and religion certainly fit this model, but culture and religion, not the same thing. I'm a big fan of having culture, of having ritual, of having structure. Those types of things help to frame the human experience, but they are not religion. And so beyond that, I mean, am I making sense? Before we continue on, Brian, I just wanted to address those first two things.
I wouldn't disagree with you, but like I would disagree, but agree with some of the stuff you said, and like that's like an impossible 3-hour conversation that would be really boring to the
Which part do you
viewers.
disagree with? I'm just curious. Which part troubles you?
Well,
The part that
we
culture and
all have
religion are not the same, or that deconstruction doesn't mean we dismantle everything?
I can go with both. Deconstruct. If you actually, once again, I'll mess up the name. Descartes is if you follow the deconstruction of everything, you can actually even accept Descartes because he's an authority. So it's actually kind of like my point being is like I actually agree with you and not Descartes, is that you can only deconstruct something to a point, and then you kind of got to reconstruct everything. And that's actually
Descartes an authority. Where did that come from?
No. I'm just saying, like Descartes. I'm probably saying it wrong. I'm sorry. But we both know what we're talking.
Brian.
What's the argument here? I don't know what the argument is for God.
I'm making.
Did I miss
I'm
it?
making the. I'll make the argument now. Is that I actually agree with Seth. Is that you can't deconstruct everything to oblivion. You need to have humanity, families, neighborhoods, towns. We all need to have a construction. We need to be able to have a social construction. So the question is...
I'm going to stop you, Brian. Forgive me. I think we have a disagreement on definitions. When we talk about deconstruction, that's the reverse engineering of a claim or an idea or a belief system. What you're talking about is a construction of a society, a framework for living for individuals and the community that consists of those individuals. These are apples and oranges. These are two totally different things.
I would agree with you, but that's what I'm trying to actually say is like we can deconstruct everything that we believe, but we need to have a construction of how we like operate in society. Correct? You know what I mean? Is like, for example, like I think you guys would agree. Like we're all Americans, right? And we kind of follow like the Constitution. But there's more, like if you just follow the Constitution, you're missing a whole bunch. We need to be able to construct a society that parallels the Constitution in America. And one of the problems I have, it's really easy to like argue against something, but it's actually much harder to construct something. And my problem that I've always had with my atheist friends that and please believe me, with all due respect, I love you guys. I really do.
Yeah, I don't need all the caveats. What I want is your argument, Brian. All right? But I understand that we are creating society norms. Hang on. Hold on. We're creating a structure for our society, and we are creating even rules for ethical behavior within that society. You and I do not disagree.
What are they?
Necessarily based on
but what are they? That's my problem.
Hold on just a second for me, Brian. I would like to finish this thought. Would that be all right?
Sounds good. Yes.
So I think it's fair to say that we rather than pinballing around at random like a bunch of gnats, have as communal creatures, as societal creatures, have created systems in which those communities live, and those systems include culture, they include rules, they include codes of conduct, they include forms of expression, and so many other things. And those things are, I think, healthy and beneficial. Those are pro-social. Now I'm going to put you on mute for just a second because I want John to be able to chime in while we have a brief moment. John, did you have anything to say about deconstruction or construction? I'm trying to figure out what his point is. He said he was trying to prove God or Christianity.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the plan to land on like why God exists. As far as he understands God to exist. And so I'm still trying to figure that out. But as far as deconstruction goes, I feel like deconstruction is just about really analyzing what you believe and why you believe it. And people sometimes deconstruct just out of their particular version of Christianity, like whether that version of Christianity is like Mormonism, Jehovah's Witnesses, or anything like that. And then, they just become another denomination. I mean, that's one way deconstruction can happen. So like, I don't understand how deconstruction like works into this or what is even being said. I'm trying to follow, but it's just, I guess I feel like I'm having a difficult time actually following the caller's like point.
It's not you.
Okay.
There are 1,000 different arrows going in 1,000 different directions. Brian, is there a way you can tie all of this into Christianity for me?
Yeah. And I appreciate what you guys were saying. And I want to make sure you understand me. It's like, I deconstructed a lot. And then I got to that point of what you were talking about, Seth, is like, okay, here's where we're at. We're at a family level. We're at a community level. And I have a hard time with Christianity saying everything that Christianity says and everything that they believe, that the Christians have taught since the beginning of time, is actually ridiculously logical and perfect, and I can't argue against it. So that's where we're at. Is you, for example, you would have to like argue to a Christian and to explain to them why, for example, a man marrying a woman is a problem, and that should be the basis of all families. When in the for example, a man marrying a woman and having children is the basis of a family, and then the family is the basis of the community, and the community is the basis of the civilization. So if you break that down and fight against that, everything falls apart, starts falling apart. And
I disagree with your premise. I disagree with your premise. I'm not sure we're in productive waters here, Brian. But even if Christianity, let's say that happened to be true, and it's not, that a man and a woman are the basis for the family, and that this came from Christianity. Well, Christianity could also be a book of mythology. The Bible could be a mythological book and have made that claim. It wouldn't mean that the God of Christianity was real. But, we see family coming in so many forms, and we understand how families and communities work evolutionarily. The fact that something was printed in the Bible and said, hey, we're going to define a family in this specific way, doesn't mean that is the model for family, or even a healthy model for family. I disagree with your premise. Brian, I'm going to move on to the next call. I do appreciate you very much.
Well, heathens, that was an interesting call. If you will, please go down below and let me know what you thought about any of the topics that we covered today. Do you think that religion is essential for society? Do you think that Christianity is the essential framework that society needs in order to operate? And how much do you think the Christian moral teachings or Christian thought is really good for society? Do you think that it is good, or do you think that there are some Christian teachings that need to be reworked or maybe just totally fucking forgotten in the first place? Let me know down below in the comments. And while you're down there, why don't you smash that like button and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens.